Comrades, esteemed guests, members of the media, I stand before you today with a heart full of humility and a spirit ignited by a profound sense of purpose. The trust you have placed in us as we wrap up this conference to serve this organization in Johannesburg, the economic heartbeat of our nation and continent, is not a privilege we take lightly. It is a mandate for renewal, a call to action, and a sacred covenant between the African National Congress and the people we are tasked to serve in Johannesburg. To serve the ANC in Johannesburg is to stand at the crucible of modern South Africa, tasked with steering a city and a region of profound contrasts, immense potential, and deep historic scars. Leadership here carries a significance that extends far beyond locality. It is an act of navigating complexity, healing divisions, and unlocking the talent, energy of our continent's economic heartbeat. This conference sits at a time when the ANC is on a path, unfortunately, of decline from its electoral support and the historic support base. And the convener of deployees alluded to this earlier in her input. For nearly 3 decades, the African National Congress stood as a symbol of liberation, unity, and hope. It commanded a dominant majority, which was a reflection of the trust bestowed upon it by a proud people who had overcome racism, segregation, and oppression to attain freedom. Today, the political landscape is different, comrades. It is no longer defined by a single towering pillar of power, but by a fragile mosaic of coalition governments. The reason for this decline is written in the daily experiences of millions of our people, the scourge of unemployment, economic stagnation, failure of service delivery, where there are water shortages, electricity disruptions, and crumbling infrastructures remain a reality, alongside the corrosive shadow of corruption and internal factionalism. All this has severely damaged our party's image. Its moral authority and its ability to govern effectively has been brought into question. The voter is no longer patient and has become a vocal critic of our track record and ability to resolve basic service delivery challenges. The ballot, which was once an affirmation of the ANC's program, has become a tool of accountability to punish the ANC. The direct consequences of this decline is in the era of local coalition governments that no single party holds a majority. Our program for progressive change and transformation is under threat. What follows from here is policy paralysis as the decision-making process on budgets, housing, formalization of informal settlements, and other critical service delivery areas is protracted for political considerations in order to balance these coalitions. This is a great threat to our democratic gains and the national democratic revolution. And this has dealt the ANC a serious blow where we find ourselves having to defend our democratic gains and the very policies and foundations that have given people dignity through housing, quality education, water, as well as basic services. The ANC therefore stands at crossroads where renewal is not just the election of new leadership, but the renewal to the commitment to better the lives of South Africans and not betray the founding principle of this very ANC that we serve. I'm especially conscious of the significance of this moment, comrades. All the speakers that spoke bring this reality alive. I'm conscious of this moment because as a woman stepping into this role, I stand on the shoulders of giants, the many women who have led, championed, and dedicated their lives to the ANC and the pursuit of the national democratic revolution. To be a woman of firsts is to walk a path where the ground is not yet solid and to step into the space where the air is thin. This mammoth task means you are both the blueprint and the builder. You are the dream and the toiler. My footsteps would not only echo in the corridors of my predecessors, but will also become the sound that future generations of women, activists, will learn to recognize as possibility. Indeed, it is possible. Be that as it may, comrades, being the first is not a crown of solidarity triumph, but a ladder built over many decades from progressive collective conscience and struggles. Comrades, I want to take this moment to remind us of the first Black South African woman graduate and a pioneering political activist. She took a moment to remind us that this struggle is not worth the pursuit if it is not selfless. She said, "This work is not for yourself. Kill that spirit of self and do not live above your people, but live with them." And so today, we achieve not for personal glory, but to pull our communities upwards with us by transforming a singular breakthrough into a collective advance. Johannesburg's very foundation is rooted in the geology of gold and the politics of exploitation. Its spatial landscape echoes the divide between the affluent northern suburbs and the sprawling, underdeserved townships of the south. Johannesburg is a physical testament to the legacy of apartheid. Therefore, leadership in this context is irrevocably tied to spatial and economic justice. We, as the ANC, must be a bridge builder, actively working to dismantle these entrenched patterns of inequality. The political economy of Johannesburg is a tale of two cities. On the one hand, the Johannesburg GBT metro is estimated at over 1.2 trillion, contributing nearly 16% to the national GDP and over 40% to Gauteng's. We host the Johannesburg Stock Exchange with a market capitalization of over 17 trillion. This is a vibrant, globally connected financial hub. Yet this coexists with the reality that our official unemployment rate sits at over 30%, soaring to over 40% for our youth. We are a city that creates immense wealth, yet too many of our nearly 6 million residents are living below the breadline, trapped in a cycle of spatial exclusion inherited from the very same apartheid I spoke about. Johannesburg's health is critical to the well-being of the entire nation. Leadership here involves the delicate balance of fostering a climate conducive to investment and innovation while ensuring that growth benefits the majority. This city is not just a place of commerce, but an ecosystem where economic vitality and social stability are mutually dependent. We must, as the ANC, lead the charge to foster an economy that is both globally competitive and locally inclusive. This means a dedicated focus on supporting our SMMEs, which account for over 50% of employment in the city. In all this, we need to put Johannesburg and its residents first by mandating that a significant portion of the city's 60 billion supply chain is directed to local registered businesses. Concurrently, we need to work with large corporates on a social compact for investment where the success is directly linked to the skills development, infrastructure upgrade, and the rejuvenation of our townships and informal settlements. To achieve this, our public policy must be bold, innovative, as already indicated in our resolutions, and we must be relentlessly focused on delivery. We cannot talk about economic growth without talking about a reliable and affordable system that will also assist in terms of transportation and our own electricity and energy strategies. None of this is possible without a radical overhaul of the municipal and infrastructure. finance. And comrades, while our focus is local, our vision is global. Johannesburg's foreign policy is one of partnership and prosperity to ensure that investment comes so that we can transform and improve the lives of our people and ensure that there is job creation in Johannesburg under the leadership of the ANC. As leaders of the ANC, we need to navigate and manage the complexities of rapid urbanization and multiculturalism. This demands foresight and an inclusive approach that sees diversity as the city's greatest strength. Comrades, this leadership will have to confront the tangible and intangible. While we face a daunting array of day-to-day challenges in our city, and as indicated earlier, that infrastructure decay, there is hope because the city has got an investment plan, and as the ANC, we have a responsibility to ensure, as indicated even in our declarations, that deployees of the African National Congress must be monitored and evaluated. There is no free ticket. You have to serve the people of Johannesburg diligently, with humility, and if you are not prepared to do that, give others an opportunity so that those who are willing to serve, do it, so that the ANC, our intention is to continue to be re-electable so that we can serve the people. The ANC in Johannesburg is significant. It is not like any other because the city itself is a microcosm of the national project. It is arguably the hardest place to govern in South Africa, but also the most consequential. Success here in the city measured is shared prosperity, social cohesion, and functional services, would signal a breakthrough for the entire country. To serve here is to accept the Herculean task of turning the city of gold into this world-class African city, world-governed city that we always speak about. The stakes could not be higher, and the potential reward of getting it right would be even greater for the African National Congress. For us to succeed, we must wholeheartedly and with conviction commit ourselves to the unity of the ANC and our program of renewal. We must commit ourselves to the progressive ideas and policies of the movement and mobilize society behind our program at all levels. This conference must be a turning point, comrades, a point where we abandon individualism in favor of collective leadership and principled action to serve the people of Johannesburg beyond the self. We must actively work to continue to unite our organization against and around the principle and not a personalities and an opportunities organization. We must all make the solemn commitment to work for the people of Johannesburg and the ANC. Umbutho wabantu must return to being the sole and most reliable repository of the needs and aspirations of our people. We must build an ANC that is trustworthy, reliable, and able to serve our people and the residents of Johannesburg. As we conclude this conference, we must reflect on our journey thus far, and we must remember comrades who have led and were acknowledged earlier on when we were at plenary, who we have lost, who were indeed executive mayors and led the city of Johannesburg. That would be Comrade Jeff Makubo, Comrade Jolly Dimatongo, and Comrade Timpo Mwerane. Today must be the moment to break that curse and that has hung over our organization in this region. We must utilize this moment to reaffirm that collectivism has triumphed over self-interest. Today must be the commencement of a journey towards selflessness and an unwavering commitment to serving the people of Johannesburg. We must rebuild dignity and respect for our organization. We must champion non-racialism and non-sexism to reclaim the space and affirm the ANC as the true leader of society. Unity must be our common purpose. Unity of the ANC must be sacrosanct and must be our mission across the region. We must unite to conquer, and conquer, we must align and marry unity to discipline. A disciplined force is what we need to achieve total liberation and effective service to our people and the residents of Johannesburg. Comrades, amahlati aphelile. Conferences come and go. The ANC needs all of us united, working together. We must act to serve the people of Johannesburg, and that can only happen if we have an ANC that is united and cohesive. As I conclude, I wish to thank the 15th Regional Conference, which was led by Comrade Dada Murero, and we thank him for his sterling leadership in his tenure. In conclusion, I wish to borrow from Mam Lilian Ngoyi, the first woman who was elected to the ANC National Executive Committee, and an anti-apartheid activist whose spirit speaks to the courage required. She said, "I am a woman of action. I cannot sit down and fold my hands while others are busy making history." To be a woman of firsts is to embody this action, to refuse to wait for permission, to reject the folding of hands. It is to be busy tirelessly in the pursuit of the genuine struggles of our people and the sacred act of making history yourself. I thank you. Mandla! Awethu! Malibongwe! Igama lamakhosikazi! Viva ANC, viva! Viva President Cyril Ramaphosa, viva! Viva Chairperson Panyaza Lusufi, viva! Malibongwe! Igama lamakhosikazi! Uma